And one of the things that Symbiote Creatives always wanted to do, because we appreciate the community that started us and solidified us, was reward them first. And so we're not ever leaving the Theta community. We're not leaving the Theta blockchain. We're just rewarding. We're going to reward you guys with new content like we've always wanted to do, and then expand upon that. Because again, for us to be a successful business, we need to expand. And it is a business. Maybe some people think that Symbiote Creatives is just one person that's, having shits and giggles and having fun.
This week episode is brought to you by none of Secret Supply of Sauce, the best sauce known to mankind and available on shelf anywhere. Even when the freezer is full of sauce, there is still no sauce for you. You want some of Nona sauce? Too bad, only Nona decides who gets the sauce.
Hey Mags, have you heard about the Pog Hub?
Pog Hub? No, what's that?
Pog Hub. It's the new Pog Embassy from our friends Kyler over at Pog Digital.
They got a Pog Hub?
They got a Pog Hub, man. You can go there. All it takes is an email address. You sign up. It's as easy as that. And then from there, connect your Twitter account, and you got daily social quests that you can use to get some points.
What are these points you speak of?
Right now, these are just Pog points. And right now, there is the ability to open up some Pog loot packs. And if you're feeling like a gamble, you can go ahead and rip them open. Some have points in them, some have Discord roles. Maybe in the future there'll be more.
Oh, you'd think Pog being a proud sponsor of the Pinecast, I'd know about this.
You would think so. I did happen to notice that the Poppin' Mags intern was on it.
The intern was on it?
That's correct.
And I knew nothing about it.
Doesn't surprise me. Hop on over to hub.pogdigital.com and check it out today.
Poppin's poppin' and locking, Magnum scrutinizing. Poppin' Mags Podcast.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Season 3, Episode 15 of the Zilly Award-winning Poppin' Mags Pinecast. Guess what, guys? Mags is knee-deep in the pricker bush in the great outdoors up in Canada. So we got our first-time special guest host, Mr. Ivory Jones. Ivory, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. I appreciate the invitation. Always fun to be on these podcasts with you guys, even though we're missing Mags, but it's all
Yeah. Well, I certainly appreciate you jumping in here. First off, how do you feel about Camp Theta? You check it out at all on Twitter?
No, not really. No, I've spoken to the leader, great guy. Me and him have talked, but I have not checked out Camp Theta. One of the main reasons is I'm not someone who enjoys camping in general. So I would not be one of the first people to look into that because I don't like camping.
So you're more of a glamper?
Yeah, what's a glamper?
That's like glorified camping where you're actually in like a house, right? Or
Yeah.
you're not roughing it in a tent, laying on the ground.
Yeah, I would call that me. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to camp inside my home with some air conditioning, I'm all for it. Get some fake animals run around. That's cool. Got no problem with it. But when you talk about real camping, nah, it's not for me. So I don't look into it at all.
What you are into the outdoors though, right? And you
Yeah.
enjoy hiking?
Yeah, I enjoy hiking. I would enjoy climbing as well, like mountain climbing. That's a lot of fun. Obviously, it's very stressful on the body, but yeah, stuff like that is cool. I definitely would enjoy more of that in my life, just not camping.
What about fishing? Are you a fisher?
Nope. My brother-in-law, he took me fishing as a kid, and the longevity, how long it takes to catch a fish, is incredibly brutal. I don't enjoy it, and I would say it's similar to camping because my biggest thing is mosquitoes. I hate mosquitoes. Don't want to be near them, and so fishing and camping both kind of include that. Just the mosquito issue.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And I come from upstate New York in the wooded area, and man, the mosquitoes and the black flies up there just atrocious. I was actually up at my parents' house a couple weekends ago, and we were talking, and my dad was like, "Oh, you remember that one time when you and your buddy Chad were, we used to like camp out in the yard every once in a while." And I had my buddy over. We had the tent out. We camped out in the yard. A huge storm hit, and we came inside middle of the night. Our tent ended up like 3/4 of the way up a pine tree, a couple 100 feet high.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Don't want to mess with that.
No, no, not too much into that. I mean, I don't mind the outdoors either. I grew up in the outdoors, but I'm not all for, going to lay on the ground and if the kids wanted to do it, I would do it. But I would probably wake up and not be able to move my neck.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. Yeah.
So
Yeah. But if
all
my kids want to do it, I'm still not doing it. But that's
right. You guys go head out there and yeah, I'll be right here. I'll help you set up the tent though.
yeah.
All right, so you're actually coming off a pretty big week here. Speaking of outings, you had a nice little outing in Vegas, if I understand properly.
Yeah, went to Las Vegas last Wednesday. It was a very good business experience, an awful personal experience. I do not like Vegas after going for the first time. I hope it's the last time I go. But yes, from a Fuse Wars perspective, it was really cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Vegas myself. Went there. I've only been there one time as well. I went with my wife. She actually ran the Vegas Marathon.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, so I went there for support. It's just, it's one of those places where you go there once and it's like, I know what it's about, and I'm just not about it really.
Yeah, very crowded. Lots of lights. One thing that kind of messes up my equilibrium is noise. Like a lot of noise will mess me up. It's hard for me to focus. Las Vegas is a very noisy place.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place at times, though. Like walking outside was actually really pretty. Going to one of my favorite restaurants, True Food, that was fun. But yeah, very noisy place and hard to focus. Very hard to focus.
Yeah, big time overstimulation of all the senses for the most
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
But you were able to go there with the Reflexed team, right?
Yeah, so Reflect from Cardano Games, they invited Fuse Wars because they are a partner of Fuse Wars. So they created an incredible booth. They actually won an award for their booth because I think their booth was the best at the Evo convention. And incredible gaming booth. Fuse Wars was one of the games that was presented at the booth, and arguably Fuse Wars got I will say, a lot of attention. A lot of attention.
Yep.
We had eventually had like a little line of people lined up wanting to play the game, and we had some young people under the age of 16 playing it for hours on end. So that was awesome. It was great to get that feedback. Great to see people playing it, and they didn't even know, like they didn't know who I was. I'm just standing back there watching them play it. It was really, really cool to witness their honest opinion on it, and to see how much fun they were having. So that was really, really cool. It was worth the trouble of being in Vegas for sure.
Nice. So, like you said, this was for Rare Evo, and that is a yearly convention. Is it mostly just blockchain gaming on Cardano that this is about?
So Rare Evo is a blockchain convention for any form of technology, but gaming was a big deal this year. They have, Ethereum, they have Solana, so they have other blockchains coming in there with their particular technologies. But this year, I did see Star Atlas was a big name there from Solana. What was another one? Cardano had some games they were displaying from their own community. Ethereum, so like Board Gate Club was there. I saw the apes there. So it was a pretty big convention, especially because it's in Caesar's Palace. And yes, it's yearly. They're doing it again next year at Caesar's Palace again. So they're going right back to Las Vegas next year, August 7th, I believe. And I hope not to be there. But if my team has to be there, I'll get someone else to go. But yeah, it's every year they do this. Charles, I don't want to butcher his last name. I think it's Hodgkinson. I can't pronounce it, but he's the creator and the founder of Cardano, and he does this every year. It's pretty big. Definitely a lot of groups of technological people there. I met Rob from Digital Asset News there. He's a huge community person in the blockchain space. And I also met Wendy O. I met Wendy O there as well. So it's a pretty big convention. Pretty big convention.
Did you do the artwork originally for Digital Asset News?
Yes, I did artwork for his first and only NFT drop. He was dying to meet me. So when we met, we just clicked. We had dinner, talked for hours, and he was just really grateful to have met me for that drop. But yeah, the one, I think it's called. It's been so long, I don't remember
Yeah,
the name
I
of it.
think so. Where he's
Yeah.
like going up like Superman kind of in the middle of a conference table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
So that.
So
that
did
was-
you get a chance to get around and see some of the other games that were being displayed?
Yeah, absolutely. Star Atlas being one, because I'm a fan of Star Atlas, and it's interesting to see how much money gone into that game. You know, a lot of people don't know, and this is not a knock on anyone. This is just common sense. A lot of people don't know a lot what goes into gaming or development. And so Star Atlas had, I know about a year or two ago, they had over 250 employees on that game. They don't have that today. They've lowered that number significantly. I think they're under 80 employees, but it's incredible to see that game. I think it's a beautiful game, and then compare it to like Fuse Wars. Fuse Wars has never had anything over 10 employees. Okay, nothing over 10. And if you look at the two games, compare them, it's astonishing to watch the both games and to see the amount of people on both games. So I think it's, if anyone's listening and go play Star Atlas, go play Fuse Wars. I think they're both available. At least Star Atlas is available in beta, and just see for yourself like the amount of time and effort gone into both, and to see the skill sets. 'Cause I think it's interesting. It's interesting for me as a creator to watch stuff like that. Also, Chrono Shot from Cardano Games. That's their first launch. And Fuse Wars is actually going to be affiliated with that game. We have some plans to where Fuse Wars NFTs will be available to those who are playing Chrono Shot. So that should be fun as well. Should be exciting. A lot of other games. Can't remember their names off the top of my head. But yeah, there's a lot of games there.
So what kind of a game is this Chrono Shot? Is that similar to Fuse Wars, third-person shooter?
Yeah, it's a third-person shooter, but I think what their focus is on is like freezing time. I see them doing it quite often. So I think they freeze time in order for you to accomplish a goal. So even though you're shooting, you're actually like pausing time for a few seconds to accomplish whatever objective you have in that game. Also, a big deal about that game is having influencers. Influencers are being created digitally to be put into Chrono Shot. And then the influencer has an AI assistant, and that assistant talks to that influencer's community while he or she is playing the game. So that's a big selling point with Chrono Shot, is the influencers and the AI assistant that is kind of helping the community while he or she's playing the game.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. So another kind of going down the route of AI. Not too different from Fuse Wars, but I guess a little bit, right? I mean, you're using AI for the villains, right?
Yeah, like for us, we're using AI for more traditional reasons of AI, and that's just to create a environment that is challenging. Like we're not getting involved in communication. We're not getting involved in nothing like that. Just to create an opportunity for gamers to either lend their own guardian to an AI, so that the AI will do it on its own. That would be considered an AI controller, and have our villains, our AI antagonists to be at their best. And that's something that's really important, because just again, everyone that played the game at Evo, they didn't play online, they played offline, and they really enjoyed Fuse Wars just with the bots. So the bots can be much more challenging. I'm looking forward to creating scenarios for people to get involved, to where the AI is just as challenging as playing against another person. But that's where we're leaving it at. We're sticking with AI to be affiliated with the controller and the antagonist.
Nice. And there was something about maps too, right? The AI is that just AI created maps? They change?
Yeah, so they change. They're not AI created. What happens is Unreal unlocked a feature to where when you're playing a game and the match ends, depending on how that game went from a strategic standpoint, we're talking about. So let's say it's 4-4, and the 8 guardians leaned on one side heavily. They may have noticed a certain area that was beneficial to them, And so they may have leaned on that side heavily to accomplish the goal, to maybe control the map or get certain attributes. The at that point when the match ends, AI will shift the map, an actual physical shift. Like it shifts it and it changes it so that you can't lean on that side the next time. So now the next time you have to reevaluate your whole plan because the map wasn't, you're not able to identify the map again as the same exact map. So that's how we were using AI.
All right, that makes sense. So you can't just run to the eagle's nest every time and snipe.
Exactly.
Well, that's cool. So we just recently had another Theta Hackathon this year.
Yeah.
Got some of our fan favorites here got snubbed. I'm not sure. Have you seen any of the recent news with WWZ and what they're doing?
I did. I did.
I mean, that's pretty incredible. This last game, I think they had 88 players in it. So
It's
it's
insane. Was it
that
was
is
it
insane.
the was it the Solana version
Yeah,
or
well, it's the
yeah.
same. Yeah, I mean, it's the same game, but it was using Solana NFTs. These happen to be the goobs. These guys have just taken to it. I mean, I can see why. It's fun. Like they have this other Discord battle stuff, right? Where it's just like, oh, like all of a sudden, like the whole thing, it takes like 10 seconds, right? And it's never really like player versus player. It's like each round there's like 7 actions and you got to like hurry up and read to see if your guy was involved in it or if you died, right? It would
Yeah.
just kind of lame. So WWZ came in and now it's like, you got 2 or 3 battles or 2 or 3 guys at each time, right? So each round is like either one guy going after 2 or one guy going after 1. And there's a whole lot of smack talk and we love it. I love it. Bunch of guys. There's definitely a bunch of guys from Theta that love it, but it just always kind of like hung out around 20 people playing. I think we
Yeah.
got up to 50 one time, but gets over to these goobs, and all of a sudden it's like bang, bang, bang. Before you know it, 88 people. They're trying to get 100 in this next one. The last round, it took almost, I think it was like 2.5 hours for for it to go through the
Wow.
whole thing.
Wow. To me, WWZ is like a huge motivation. Like they've motivated me. I'm just really proud of what they've accomplished because to me they've accomplished the most in the space, if I'm being honest. And I think that they are continuing to be put themselves in the best position to succeed. It was unfortunate that they didn't get recognized in the hackathon. I thought they should have been, me personally. But everyone has a different opinion as to why someone gets recognized or why someone doesn't.
Yeah.
But from a community standpoint, from a success standpoint, from building for the community and continuing to want to provide for the community, to me, those things are extremely important. And WWZ is the pillar of that. Mac done an amazing job, man, to put that together. So I'm just happy for them to get the success they deserve because they've been wanting that success, and hopefully it will continue to grow because I'm looking up to them to want to do something like that for my own games. So
Mac has put a ton of work into this thing and, started a long time ago and has just continued to grow. And, it kind of makes me wonder, like, I understand that the hackathon is what it is, right? It's intended to be this 2-month period of like anybody shows up and within that time frame come up with something and submit it and, win money, right? But is that really beneficial? Like, are the people that are winning these things really benefiting the space? Because I don't think they are. I think it's more of these guys like Mac with WWZ and even Zilla with the Retro Rain game who are building and creating within the space. But then, this 2-month period and fitting into the hackathon doesn't make sense. But meanwhile, these guys are building and contributing, and they get nothing. And then these other people come in, and they're putting these projects in all over the place. They're basically their full-time job is to enter hackathons,
hmm
and you're winning off of that. And it's like, what real value are they going to provide to the ecosystem in the future?
Well, they're not, and the problem is to be frank, is that the judges, they're in a different world. They're not in the right bubble to understand the community. And they're not seeing who is putting in that work, that time, that effort. That's really all it is. I mean, when you see those who put that time and work in, and you see, okay, for example, it may even take them longer than 2 months to do that. You should be changing the rules based off of your community. You shouldn't create rules just to create them. You should create rules that benefit your community, because it is people like Mac, you will actually lose him from the theta community because he's not being recognized. He's not being identified as a hard developer who's been in the space for a long time and is trying to create game-changing technology for your blockchain. You know, one of the game, I think the game project that did win, it wasn't even a game. That's a very interesting dynamic, that you don't select a game to win. You select a application that is claiming that you can make a game in it, which isn't even true. I've done my research on that. You cannot make a game in that application, but you can make assets. Yes, you can make OBJs. But because it was focused on AI, is probably the reason why it won, because that is what it was focusing on. And to me, again, this is people not really understanding the space, understanding their own blockchain. Don't make a gaming section if you're not going to give a gamer, or excuse me, a game development project the opportunity to win. You're giving AI the opportunity to win. Well, then you should remove the gaming class. That's all you need to do. So unfortunately, it's not well put together. It's not communicated well at all. And the wrong people win, if I'm being honest. Like you said, there are people who professionally go into hackathons every year, and they'll take their project from one blockchain to the next to enter in a hackathon hoping to win. And that's what they do for good. But then you have people in the theta community that work very hard all year long in the theta community that doesn't get recognized at all, and they burn out. And so, this is unfortunate, but this is the hard truth.
Yeah. No, I think that they need to change the parameters of it because it's not anything beneficial as far as I can see. I agree with you. And, just to further say that, like, obviously Mac, puts WWZ in, it's killing it. We all like anyone that has any pulse on the community understands that WWZ is killing it, and he gets snubbed from the hackathon. And then 2 weeks later, it's just like Goobs on Solana are just like, yeah, please, let's go. Like 88 people. I guarantee they're going to get over 100. And it's just going to take off from there because now, people aren't just in one project. It's like these Solana guys, like Solana's on fire, like with
Yeah.
the meme coins, the NFT projects. This is just going to start spreading. And it's like,
Yep.
oh, you don't, Theta doesn't want this. Like, oh, like, looks like Solana does. So like this door is now wide open over there. And you wonder why wouldn't he just follow that? Right. Cause I mean,
Exactly. Yeah,
and
he needs to go where he's being treated well,
yep.
right? And
Yep.
and so that's the problem. You basically you potentially lose him because you didn't recognize him. You didn't give him recognition. Imagine what he could have accomplished if he would have won the hackathon. Imagine how further he could go. But because you didn't recognize him, and to be honest, no one cares, he moves on. The community might get upset, might not, just depends. But now the Solana ecosystem is open arms for him. And like you said, Solana is booming. Solana is banging the door down for adoption. Okay. I know everybody can get all upset about Solana, but let's just keep it real for a moment. They're banging the door down for adoption. That entire blockchain is being adopted. And if they invite him with open arms, he should leave because again, there's no recognition.
So now the one thing about Solana that I didn't realize that I just kind of started to understand, there's like the actual token Solana is very much what's the word, inflationary, right?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't understand that before because I just saw a post. It was like, Solana already topped up their highest market cap ever, but the coin's down $50 from where it was. Do you have a pulse on that?
When you say a pulse, as to, what do you mean? Like, what
Like,
do
do
I
you have,
think of that? Or
yeah. Is, in general, obviously, this conversation isn't about the actual Solana token, but
right.
Everything that's going on within the Solana community is obviously, there's a lot of
Oh,
activity going on over there.
yeah. The Solana. So I've been a part of the Solana ecosystem for about 2 years now, since 2021. So I guess it's more than 2 years. And one of the things that I've noticed about the tokenomics and how they do things is they're about, like major push. Like they want things to just move and move fast. And their development is like that. I'm in a development team now called Encore. It's a Solana specific team, and it's like speed development, and it's for learning. I've been trying to learn a lot about Rust, and so when you watch how they develop and then you watch their tokenomic business model, because they're two separate things, but they actually coincide very well together. Even though the token's inflationary, it they know how to push. They know how to use the token, because the token's being used like crazy. Okay, the amount of transactions that happen are insane. The amount of times it will freeze are insane, and the reason why it freezes is because of the amount of transactions it's having. So it's being used. I think Solana is one of the most used utilities in blockchain next to Ethereum. Ethereum I would say would be number one, and Solana would be number two. So you're just looking at how much they're using it, and in its use case, it does the job that it needs to do, and that token will pump. I mean, that token will literally pump, man, like there's no tomorrow, and it's exciting to see, like, because they don't play. When it goes, it goes.
Yeah.
And we will be right back.
This week's episode is brought to you by Dr. Theta's Community Guardian Node. Theta's premier community guardian node, where you can stake your Theta if you don't run your own guardian node. Best of all, 100% uptime, so you do not miss any rewards, and 0 fees, so you earn 100% of your T-Fuel. Trusted by Theta Labs, you can easily stake directly within your wallet. Simply go to the Staking tab, choose Delegated Guardian Node, and find Dr. Theta's Guardian Node. Quick, simple, reliable, and best of all, safe, as the coins never leave your wallet. Stake with the Doc today. This week's episode is brought to you by GuardiansOfTheta.com, offering 0% one-click Theta Guardian staking with random monthly token giveaways. Guardians also airdropped everyone staking with him an NFT that you're able to stake and earn T-Vibe. 100% uptime, 0 fees, random giveaways, what's not to love? Stop paying 4% and come join the fam with Guardians of Theta.
Papa Max Podcast.
Have you had a chance to play the Retro Rain Zilla game?
Yeah, so I played it before it got released. I was like a little insider, got a chance to check it out, and had a great time. My son played it. He had a great time. It was really cool to watch him build it from scratch, because he's like, Zilla has been part of my team for a while, and watching him just, he learns things like incredibly fast, and he picks up on things incredibly fast. And so just watching him decide, hey, I'm about to build this, and watch him go from A to B was really cool. Like, he pretty much built that blueprint on his own, learning from, I'm sure, watching videos online, but also learning from the Fuse Wars team and seeing what they've done. And he's just learned a lot, and just put so much together so quickly. Didn't even take him that long, to be honest. He did work really hard, though, because he was working nonstop to get it into the hackathon. Yeah, really cool game. Can't wait to see the next version of it, because I know he has a lot of ideas in his head that he wants to accomplish, and I'm excited to see that. And he wants to make it a part of Syndicate X, which is really, really humbling for me. So it'll be cool to see where that goes.
Nice. Yeah, this is no shade on Fuse Wars, but this is way more my speed kind of a game. Just go at your own pace, one enemy to work at it at a time. Don't got to be looking around everywhere. It's gonna take me a long time to get as good at Fuse Wars as many others already are.
Hey,
Especially
every
those
game is
very
not
good.
for you.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah.
I'm definitely waiting on some racing games that I heard were at some point coming.
Yeah. I love racing too. So yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Oh man,
One of my favorites.
that was my jam for sure. Need for Speed. That was my game. Loved it.
Yeah.
Running the cops. Yeah, that's probably the one game I spent the most time playing. Besides like Tony Hawk 3 way back in the day.
Oh yeah, Tony Hawk was cool. Yeah, running from the cops is always like a lot of fun. Adrenaline. That's one of my favorite things I wanted to create, which is why obviously we got Taker's Vault in the pipeline because I want to run from the
Yeah.
cops. That's a huge.
Just
Yeah.
not in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to play Tony Hawk 3 so much that I would like on my way to class, I'd be like, "Oh, you could grind off of here and like kick flip over to here and grind off of that like to get those combos going." Phew, man. Way too much Tony Hawk 3 back in the day.
Tony Hawk is a classic though, man. That's
Yeah.
a classic. Yeah, that's one of the classics of all time.
The soundtrack is, instant
Yeah.
classics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that was the full package back in the day of gaming is Tony Hawk. I don't think they make Tony Hawks anymore, actually.
I couldn't
They
tell you.
should. Yeah.
I have no idea. I feel like a lot of the games just got too fancy for me. I like they feel too real, I think is what it
Mhm.
is. I like it back when it was just a game.
Yeah.
That's why I like Retro Rain, right? Right? It's like that classic game.
Yeah. I think games are too complicated for me. And I think that if you could introduce the simplicity of Retro Rain, but add in today's presentation, I think it could be like a masterpiece. But the complexity of games today, like when I play Call of Duty or when I play, I mean, I could even argue Fuse Wars. Like it just sometimes gets complicated and I have to learn a lot. It sounds like fun, but when I get in it, I'm tired and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. So, young
Exhausting,
people,
right? Yeah.
yeah, it's exhausting. Yeah. Young people enjoy it. Young people love it. It's what they want to do. And when this young man was talking to me at Las Vegas, he was like, "So, like what nano armor do I need?" And I explain it. He's like, "What weapon do I need to work for that nano armor?" And I explain it. And then he starts just putting stuff together on his own. And he loves that. He enjoyed that. It was a high for him. He was like, "Man, this is great. I love it." But for me, I'm like, I would just like it to be a little bit more simple.
Well, you certainly did not create a simple game or project, and for that matter, we've had plenty of conversations about the complexity.
Yeah. Yeah, it was my mistake for sure.
Just kept getting bigger.
Yeah. Way too big.
And
Way too
speaking
big.
of getting bigger, I've heard a lot about this neural havoc. Can you give us a little more insight into what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Neural Havoc was first and foremost, it was my son's idea. He wanted to because I love Contra. Contra is an old game, and I love the top down. It's like a over the not over the shoulder, but it's like a top down shooter. And you're far away from the characters. You get to see everything. You see like the whole map and while you're walking through it. And we wanted to do Neural Havoc like that. Neural Havoc is AI versus AI. One is using a Sentinel cybernetic soldier. Another is using nature, is using anything at its disposal to attack you. So both AIs have different methods of attacking. And the protagonist is the ones that have the soldiers. You deal with the soldiers. You find the weapons you need to put together to accomplish a goal, and the other one will find nature or weaponry or animals. Like you'll see like mutated insects coming in to eat you up, because that's what that AI knows how to do. It knows how to mix and match different mutations to create something new. Doing it as a top down, we just thought it would be a lot of fun because one, we wanted to be very challenging for just one player. In the video, we showed video of the game. You could see that there's so much swarming coming at you. There's a swarm of different problems, and you have to figure them all out while you're fighting at the same time. A lot of fun, a lot of fun. It is a little bit more simplistic, in my opinion, than Fuse Wars, but at the same time, it comes with a lot more than what Fuse Wars has currently. It comes with a lot more weapons. It comes with a lot more armor in the beginning. So it's a full package, and I'm excited to introduce that. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
So it's a one player, right?
So it'll be co-op. We'll have it as co-op, so you can play with your friend to accomplish it. Because again, the goals will be difficult, so it doesn't have to be one player, but it does start off as one. But it's also going to be co-op, and then once it releases, people play it. If they love it, and they're like, "Man, this is awesome," then we will bring in player versus player, which would be basically multiplayer. So teams versus teams. But we won't do that in the first run. We want people just to enjoy the experience first, get their hands dirty, see if they love it, and then if they love it, we'll continue from there.
So this first iteration is more of like a survival, like you're trying to survive a swarming, basically.
Yeah, yeah, and you're gonna be timed because again there'll be rewards available to the community. We have partnerships for those rewards, and I'm really excited about that. So again that will be explained at a later date. But we have many partnerships. People should know if you go to Fuse Wars, you could or go to Syndicate X, you could see the partnerships that we have. So rewards is really important for us. We want to always reward our community when they're working hard, and we're going to reward using NFTs and tokens. But yeah, so survival timed events where you may need to get out of a certain area because of like a bomb could be going off within that area. You need to get out. You need to fight your way out and co-op.
Nice. That sounds amazing. So now Fuse Wars has been available for a month or two now on Epic. How's that been going?
It's been good. We've had from just looking at Epic's back-end control panel, we've seen up to 129 players any given moment, and then we've seen as down as 55 players. So it's been good. It's been climbing, which is great. We see momentum. We're still developing Fuse Wars, to be honest. Fuse Wars is the kind of game, because of it being our first game for Web3, where we felt like we wouldn't have an identity until we allow people to touch the game. So we created the identity we thought we could create, but honestly, it's when players play, we start to see that identity take shape, and we're starting to see that. So we have gone back into development. There is a Fuse Wars that is going to drop within the next few months, and that one we wanted to drop with tournaments so that people can start enjoying the earning aspect. That will look significantly different from the Fuse Wars that's on Epic today, because again we've gotten feedback, but we've also seen an identity shift, and we're starting to see that identity take shape. So on Epic, it's been great. I love it. We are going to be on another company. Another company's picked up Fuse Wars. That yeah, I don't know if I can bring it up right now. It's a Steam type of company for Web3. Yeah, you know what? I could bring it up. Yeah, because I've already settled with them. So they're called Elixir. Elixir is a Steam version of Web3. If you know of Steam, Steam is a Web2 interface for games. Elixir is a Web3 interface for games. They sell Web3 games content, and beautiful platform, amazing platform. If anybody want to do their research, just Google Elixir Web3. You'll see it. It comes right up. And Fuse Wars is going to be on there. One of the things that's amazing for Fuse Wars to be on there is because one of the biggest partners of Elixir is Solana. So Solana is a major partner with Elixir. They funded the company, and so we're going to get Fuse again. I want to get Fuse Wars to everyone possible, and give them opportunities to enjoy the game. Those who own the Fuse Wars NFTs on Theta will always be at the top of the list to enjoy these rewards. And we're going to find ways to bridge those rewards so that you're able to get with the expanding community. Obviously, that's a big deal for us. So yeah, so Fuse Wars is doing really well, but I can't wait for the update. The update will change the game. I'll say about 45%. 45% of the game will change. The animations will change. The speed might get a little bit faster. People might find it hard to believe because it's already fast, but I kind of want it just a little bit faster. And then we're going to get into actually tackling the different mechanics of your actual nano armor on the Guardian. The helmet specifically, like the helmet's going to give you different ability depending on what helmet you wear. We want to be swapping to first person like originally we discussed. And then finally, Dragon Prime needs to be introduced and bringing him into the fold. So Fuse Wars has been a long project coming. Obviously, we've been very happy that people could play it for free on Epic. I don't know if it's going to always be for free. I'm going to be honest here. I don't know that it will always be for free, guys, just because it's changed a lot and it's going to continue to change. But we will do our best to make sure that people get their hands on it.
Well, I mean, if you have a Fuse Guardian, you don't have to pay anything additional. If it does cost money to play it on Epic.
Exactly. Yeah, it will always be available to those who own the NFTs. Absolutely.
And that's amazing because I swear we were getting close to that first. We aren't going to talk about that comment from you, that you were so famous for back in the day. But awesome, got some breaking news here. Elixir, great.
Yeah, I realized that, you know what, I've dealt with them now for about a week and we have a great rapport. And I definitely want Fuse Wars on their platform, so we're making it happen. And yeah, so it's a good partnership. It's a good way to get into the door of expanding the community. Again, that's always our biggest goal, is to expand the community and get our games in front of people so they can come and enjoy it. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, and I know that there's been at times some pushback about like, oh, it's not just data anymore and this and that. It's like, guys, listen, like getting this into in front of a bigger audience is going to do nothing but help promote theta in the first place. And it's going to help the community that you already have, right? So this isn't like, oh, we got all this money from the theta community. See you later. Let's go take all their money and build over on Solana. Nah, 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 nah. This has been being built. It's built up. It's available already for anyone on theta that wants it. And now let's get it in front of Solana and let's get these guys to like it and then just pump into the current community that is theta. So it's like the common sense of some of these statements of like, oh, leaving theta, it's terrible. Like, what are you doing? It's like, no, we're not. Nothing's leaving theta. Like, opening yourself up to another project is actually just getting more eyes on it. And, similar to WWZ, this thing is built on Theta and now it's going on Solana. And even though he's getting snubbed by Theta in the hackathon, now more eyes are opening up to Theta through WWZ on Solana because of Mac. And that's the same thing that's going to be going on here when this gets in front of Solana guys on Elixir, and when it got into Las Vegas with this rare Evo. So it to other communities, it's got to happen. We need the bridge. Bridges are great. We wouldn't have the life that we have right now if no one ever built a bridge.
Right, facts. And one of the things that Symbiote Creatives always wanted to do, because we appreciate the community that started us and solidified us, was reward them first. And so we're not ever leaving the Theta community. We're not leaving the Theta blockchain. We're just rewarding. We're going to reward you guys with new content like we've always wanted to do, and then expand on upon that, because again, for us to be a successful business, we need to expand. And it is a business. Maybe some people think that Symbiote Creatives is just one person that's having shits and giggles and having fun. And if it was that simple, yeah, it wouldn't bother me either. But it's not that simple. People actually are taking care of families because of this business, because of what the Theta community believed in the beginning. And because they believed in it and it grew and it became more successful, more families have been taken care of. So we're looking at doing that again, and we're looking at expanding that even further with other blockchains. But we will always want to reward the community that started it all, and that's the Theta community. And so we're excited about rewarding them. We're excited about giving them opportunities that other people won't have, or there'll be timed opportunities where the time will be for them first, and then it'll go from there. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, for sure. And we've always had those conversations where, you've always been community first and you've always treated your community like family. And, I feel like we are a big family. A lot of the people in there, we know who they are. And it's more about bringing them with you rather than leaving them behind. So that's certainly something I've appreciated ever since the beginning. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's the way to bring, like you said, bring them with us. If they want to come on with us. It's the only way to run it. It makes the most sense. Our integrity is extremely important. Reputation is extremely important. We're in a very scammy space. We're in a very, what's the word? It's a space that you can easily get messed over, because no one cares. Because
Rug.
you
Lots of
rug,
rug.
exactly. And because I've been a part of this space for a long time, I want me and my team to hold up the best that we can hold. We're very transparent, but we love our community, and it's hard to find that, in my opinion, in this space as a whole. It's hard to find.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, you can't be reliant upon many people in this space. That's for sure. And just the fact, like, a lot of people probably think, oh, the game is done and it's on Epic, and now you're just not doing anything anymore. And it's like, no, we're changing 45% of the game and we're releasing a new update in a few months. It's like, whoa, all right, well, the work doesn't end, right? And honestly, the fact that you may have to end up charging for this game in the future, that's bullish. Like, you should be charging for this game. Other games make a ton of money outside of the Web3 space. I mean, this has an opportunity for Web 2 and Web 3 potential, right? To actually build a successful business that can continue into the future. And the fact that your son is creating this neural havoc is super bullish to me, because he's right in the middle of this. Love that. And now I'm just seeing, like, Fuse Wars is like the firstborn, right? You make all the mistakes with the firstborn. And then all of a sudden, oh man, I wish I would have done this, and but it's almost too late to kind of go back and make those changes. But then the second-born comes along, and it's like you get to implement now what you've learned with the firstborn into the second one, and it's almost like the iteration has to be more quality, I'm assuming, right off the bat.
I 100% agree. Absolutely. It actually pisses me off sometimes when we're developing another game and I see how good it's getting and how clean it's becoming, because it's like, damn, I wanted Fuse Wars to look like that. And so, yeah, learned a lot, man, over the years of developing specifically for Web3. I think that's what a big deal, because there was no blueprint for developing for Web3. There was no real historical data that you could take it from and learn. You had to kind of do it on the fly and figure out the issues, figure out the good and the bad. And so Neural Havoc is a clearly, like, you're going to feel it when people play it. It's going to feel so different, feel so much more smooth and polished because of what we learned for Fuse Wars. And yeah, it'll continue down the path, right? Each and every game we able to dish out is just going to get better and better and better. So I don't know if Fuse Wars will be the historical game. I really don't know. I will pursue that as I always do until I can't pursue it anymore. But ultimately, the studio, which is the most important thing, has gotten better, and we're going to continue to provide good content.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. And like you said, the studio is the business, right? So obviously, Fuse Wars being the first child is going to always be a special place, but good studios don't just they're not just one hit wonders, right? And the fact that you got a couple lined up already, and obviously a history already of quality gaming, even though you're seeing things now that you wish you would have done, others are seeing it and enjoying it, and that's the biggest thing. So that's awesome. All
Next
right.
question.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you wanted to bring up or talk about?
We have the Endeavor as well in development. That's our horror game. Really excited about that. That should be something that people are going to really get excited about. It is attached to the Colossus lore. I'll just leave it at that. So you guys will have some lore for the first time coming in. That should be a lot of fun. We
That
will
was
be
the
having,
Endeavor, you called it?
yeah, the Endeavor. Yeah. That will be the name of the ship that crashed, and you got to deal with the issues with that. That will also have some tokens available. One of those tokens will be Pandemic, one of the meme tokens on Solana. Really cool meme token. So yeah, that'll be available in that game, as well as our main Syndicate X token. And I think the third token I got to keep quiet, so because I haven't announced that yet. So, but yeah,
We're
it
not
should
going
be.
to talk about that.
We're not going to talk, but yeah, we're not going to talk about that one. But we have 3 tokens that will be available for that horror game experience. Should be fun. First person experience, very, very cool. It is, I would say it's slow pace, but once you start to get into the in front of the antagonist, it will pick up. But yeah, should be a lot of fun. Really excited about it. Just went and seen Alien Romulus yesterday, and reminded me a lot of the Endeavor. So I was like, yeah, this is what I wanted. I wanted something that would be like blood pumping and giving you the opportunity to be scared. So it should be fun.
Okay.
So yeah, so those are the 3 games that are out. I think I'm looking at all 3 of them being available to be out this year. We'll see how the market goes. I think the market is looking really good for those three games to be out. Fuse Wars will have their first tournament, Endeavor and Neuro Havoc. The market's looking good so far, and it's looking like it might get even better. So, but if the market takes a nosedive, then I will halt, just so that we are careful and we're not releasing anything at the wrong time. But yeah, I think that's all I got.
Well, hey, listen, sounds like you still got a ton going on your day-to-day operations here, which is, amazing to hear. And hope you don't get too burned out over there, and enjoy some of these successes that you've been having as you get them. And thanks again for coming on by. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate everything that you do. Appreciate Mags, wherever he's at. Hopefully he's doing good in his camping adventure. Oh, I did forget. Sorry. I did forget staking for the Syndicate X is available. So I know there are people that have been waiting on that. I'm assuming the team will announce that next week to you guys so that you can get on that and start staking your NFTs. So that's being tested. It's been tested for about a week and a half, I think, and I haven't heard any problems. So that will be available as well. So look for an announcement next week to get on for staking.
Awesome. You're on the clock for that.
Sounds good.
And I'm having fun right now just thinking about what Mags may or may not be doing in Camp Theta as we sit here at 8:16 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. It's getting dark. I'm assuming that they've got a campfire going, and he's probably singing Kumbaya with his buddy Dharma.
I can only imagine what he's doing, to be honest with you.
I can't wait to hear the stories, that's for sure. I'm
Yeah.
a little jealous. Like, like we said, the whole camping thing isn't, my ideal, but it looks like they have a really good time up there. What a space up there. The meals I've heard are incredible.
Really?
They're having a great time. Go Team USA.
Oh man.
All right,
That's
Ivory.
cool.
Thanks again for your time. Appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be looking for an announcement on staking coming soon.
Thanks, man. You guys have a great one.
All right, take care. Thanks.
You have been listening to the Pops and Mags Pinecast. Music provided by Sushi Cat. Like what you hear? Send that cat a very nicely worded compliment on Twitter at JustAddSpam. Pops and Mags is a Scumbag Hat production
in association with Pam's Day Spa.